11:05.
11:05.
I'm BC. This is Spirit Cars. This is Mr. Knight. Night at noon. It's a little early for you, but it's about to be night at noon every day after 11:05. I've got him over here working. It wasn't easy, but we got him working. The other building is coming together pretty nice.
Oh, unbelievable.
It's like we're getting there.
Yes.
So anyway, we're working on projects here, and you're kind of training some of your guys. You're going to have work with you, so we're doing some of the assembly projects here, but we'll be moving pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, well,
Pretty soon.
starting to get things
Yeah, starting to get there.
together.
Can I bitch for a second?
Sure.
God, if you got the sniffles or you got a fever, stay home. But my God, can you imagine the previous generations that got our country to where it is? If they looked at what we are doing now, right now, going, what a bunch of wimps. Get back to work. Get off your ass. Go to work. I need parts. I need parts. If it weren't for my parts, I would do what you want, but I need some parts. So be safe. Don't be stupid. Give me my parts. That's enough of that. So we got Tweety. Tweety's coming together, so we broke the motor apart. You guys are going to work on this one too, aren't you?
Yeah, we're gonna repaint the motor.
We're going to paint the
trans.
motor to match, and it didn't have a flywheel. No, it doesn't have a flywheel, so you can put that in. You got some more parts you're going to have to sort through, and basically we got two cars that have been started
Yes.
and not finished, and mostly
between
pretty
places.
good, but a couple things that had some issues. And what's your feelings on that one? You're a day into it here.
Oh, I just love going over what somebody else has done. It's, not that they did it wrong or anything, but for some reason they put bolts in with Loctite on it without the barrel that goes with it to go into the caliper, and now everything's all
Well, you got a banjo bolt? that what you're
yeah,
talking
it's a
about?
banjo bolt, but they had so much Loctite on there. This isn't vodka. This is acetone to try and get it so I can get the hole
Oh, okay.
out so you can get some flowage to them rear calipers.
So basically, we're finishing up some projects that were started. I mean, our goal here at Spirit, and the goal up over there, it doesn't have a name yet, but whatever that is, we'll know that pretty soon. It's to help people build their dreams,
Sure.
accomplish their dreams, drive the car, have fun, excitement. Then it's not fun when it's sitting in the garage and you're all frustrated and you can't make this work or
Right.
that work. So.
We do this stuff every day. A lot of people get a car and they think they can do it themselves, and then that's why it winds up here or some other
But
shops.
part of the goal of what we're doing here is to help people accomplish. You
Exactly.
can do it, but just, count the cost. I've talked about count the cost.
Right.
Really, do your research. Make sure that things are safe. I
Yes.
like it aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
And a good quality hot rod, you don't have to sell. It
No,
sells
it'll
itself.
sell itself.
A poor quality hot rod, you can't give it away.
Right.
So, anyway, we're Tweety coming together. Alan sent some parts. We're going to kind of sort through that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next day, maybe whenever. Oh, we even got a chrome motor mount. Check this out. Now this car has been thought through. There is some cool stuff here.
Right.
So, anyway, that's coming together. This is Goldie. This is Ronnie's car. So this is the brakes you're making sure that they're going to work right.
Yes.
We repainted the frame on this one. Rear end, I think we're going to leave. It's pretty close. You won't hardly see much of that. It's going to get a tank on the back. Motor, ready to go back in. I was just informed when they tried to get it off the trailer, the rear wheels wouldn't turn. So I asked if someone clicked the little lever on the transmission. Maybe they didn't.
We'll have to check it.
I'm either going to make a mess or I'm going to know something real quick. No, it turned. So our rear engine's unlocked up.
Well, I'm gonna have to pull the rear cover.
Yeah.
It's leaking.
Yeah, let's make sure we go through and look at everything. And
Yeah.
I seen you were looking at the brakes, for the parking brake. So hopefully we can find a handle. I don't see a handle there, did you?
There's a few parts missing, but Josh says
There's
he's
pallet.
got a shelf full of
This
stuff.
car's got a rat fink seat. I mean,
Oh, it draws people's attention
Yeah.
when they come in, the white walls and the metal plate.
yeah.
People haven't seen metal plate jobs for a while.
And Ronnie said to pretty much use our discretion. He wants some kind of scallops on the side, a two-tone. We'll do a metal plate, so we'll see what we come up with.
Did he tell you what color of interior you wanted?
Probably.
Well, this would be killer with a white interior.
That's what I was thinking too.
You know, the color that it is, the white walls, a white interior would just,
Yeah. And it would be period too. That would be a.
yes, yes.
I don't know that I go so far as the whole fuzzy stuff.
Oh, no, not the, no,
We
but,
get some of that cotton stuff and put under the tires and for the display, but
yeah, no, a
Yeah.
neat, white interior would be great in it.
yeah. Well, I'm just gonna walk down the line. I'm gonna leave you alone. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
So watch for night at noon.
Yeah, that should be happening in
Soon.
a couple weeks.
Couple weeks. Night at noon. And you'll have to stage yours however you do it. I do mine. Whatever's going on that day, I kind of do the project. A lot of these kind of projects are going to go up there, so I'm going to have to tweak my format. But then I say the last half of my little program for danger zone. If anybody gets all triggered, they better not watch the last half of this one. We put it in the last half. You know, they've actually got a court now that they decide what can go on YouTube and what can't.
Really?
Oh, it's like crazy. So I figured if any geek, what do you call a computer guy? Any computer guy sits through this much of a hot rod thing to watch what I'm saying at the end of the show, have at it. I'll find another platform. And we'll let night at noon go.
Well, if he's watching it through the total platform, he's listening to your end, which his country needs to get back to.
I'm getting some more. I used to get all thumbs up. I'm getting some thumbs down now. So at least I'm
You're always
triggering
gonna-
it. I'm triggering it. Yeah.
You're always going to get that.
Yeah. I got a few of them, don't I?
All right. Well, I'm going back.
You go back to work. Okay. This is David's car. This is his chassis. You guys are plumbing the brakes on this. Oh, by the way, I think one of our most watched videos was years ago. We did that brake thing.
Uh-huh.
I think it's got a couple 100,000 views.
Really?
Really. So anyway, we're doing brakes on this next, our way. Ed just got done painting this one. It's David's car, putting the door on. Pretty slick.
Very nice color.
Very nice. To be turnkey. This one's sold, gone, waiting to go home. I can't wait when the new owner comes to get this. We're going to do an interview with him for sure. This is just a chassis going to New York. We're waiting for a couple more parts to get here, and we're going to send a bunch of cars to New York. Bonnie is in the middle of being painted. Blocking. When I say in the middle of being painted, blocking. We're doing some wiring on the motor. There's a lot of wiring to do, but other than that, Kendall is wondering where he's at. So I'm doing two things. I'm doing three things. Send me my parts. So as soon as I get a couple more parts, and I'm still moving ahead. I started the AC. I've got the AC, and I'll show you that in a second. I'm doing the wiring. I started the wiring. Normally I would do one and then the other, but I want a couple more things before I can finish the AC. So before I run it, I want to see what I'm doing. Just quickly on the wiring, it's going to come as a loom. We use a whole loom. It's pretty good. It's all labeled everywhere. We just kind of changed our brand. The brand we were using, they don't make anymore. So, but it's all labeled. Anyway, my deal on the wiring, bench build it as much as possible, even though it's in a loom. Kind of figure out where the wires are going, get them going the right direction. Cut your wires. I'm putting the switch in now, so I took the wires. I'm getting that wired together. I've already got it put together for the. This will plug into the steering column. Headlights, I'll have all that put together. I'll have my wires. This is what I get for basically for the gauges, but I'll bring them out. I'll get them loomed. So when I put it up under the dash, which I'll show you in just a second, everything is pretty much been, you know, if it takes a lug on the end of it or whatever it takes on the end, all it's got to do is bolt it together when I get under the dash. Especially when you get old, it's kind of hard to crawl around. This will just bolt in. I put a piece of wood into the firewall on the back side, and you can see that. Put it in, leave it in the big looms, kind of run it in the directions they go, then start tucking it in, clean, everything clean and tight. Got to keep it clean and tight. Okay, we can go on this side. We sort of got the window in. I don't have this in yet, but it'll go in with double-sided tape. It's just kind of sitting there because I put it there. I was going to wipe it off so it looked cleaner, but anyway, we're ready to go. You can see up under here, the AC unit, it bolts right in. It's pretty clean and slick right there. I've already got the ductwork in. You can see on the top I've put the vents for the defrosters. I've got my AC vents here. Everything's plumb there. I'm going to come down. You've got your heater hoses coming down this way, and then you'll have your AC hoses coming out here. I'll come down through the floor, and I think I'll wait on this one to make a description of just this one for the AC, and then one of just the wiring as I'm getting that together. That'll be more informative. This is just kind of an update on everybody's cars, and so that's it. This is trigger time. So trigger time. I thought about this, and this is a hard one. This is a really hard one. Proverbs, a good name is worth more to silver and gold. I'm going to read that though. Okay, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, and favor is better than silver and gold. Okay, that's easy. Yeah, right. How do you pay the bills with a good name? Well, do you know about Job? Do you know the Job story? Job's story is like, oh man, that ain't fair. So Job's this guy that's got it all together, and all of a sudden Satan goes into the king's throne room, God's throne room, and pretty much I'm paraphrasing all this, and there's a lot of great stuff in Job to read. But so God's like, hey, what do you think about my boy Job down there? And Satan's like, yeah, right. You put a hedge of protection around him. I can't touch him. Of course he's going to love you. Of course, he's blessed beyond, and he's got all this stuff. And God says, really? He loves me no matter what. He's not, here's what you can do. Do whatever you want. Do this, do this, do this. Just don't kill him. So they come, they steal this guy's rich. They steal his stuff. He's got kids. They kill his kids. I mean, the enemy allows it, makes it happen. Then he loses his health. I mean, he's sitting in a pile of ashes with boils on. He doesn't lose his wife, though. He's got her bitching at him, just telling him, curse God and die. And then he's got all his friends going, Job, you've done something wrong. You've done it wrong. You're bad. It's a punishment from God. And Job's like, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. And finally, Job questions God. How come? I mean, Job is cursing the day that he was born. He's not going to curse God. And finally, God comes and says, look, you're going to question me? Where were you when I did this? 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 Don't question me. And it goes on. So I'm going to read you the very first thing that says in Job and the very last thing it says about Job. So this is pretty good. But there's a lot of good stuff in here. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and the man was blameless and upright, one who feared God and turned away from evil. There were born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters. He had 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and he had very many servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. Okay. So Job lost everything. I mean, Job lost everything. He's sitting in a pile of ashes with boils all over him. And let me find the end of the thing. All this goes on. So here's the end of the deal. Job questions God. God says, where were you when I did all this? Quit your whining. Just all right, so the end of Job. I think I'll read most of it. And the Lord restored the fortunes of Job when he had prayed for his friends, and the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then came to him all of his brothers and sisters, and all who had known him before, and ate bread with him in his house. And they showed him sympathy and comforted him for all the evil that God had brought upon him. And each of them gave him a piece of money and a ring of gold. And the Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning. And he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camel, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 she-asses. He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first son Jeremiah. Okay, so when it goes on, and Job's daughter was like beautiful beyond. And after this, Job lived another 140 years. Things must have been better around then. We didn't have all this modern medicine giving us vaccines to cure us from all these evils. So after this, Job lived another 4, and his sons 4 generations, and Job died an old man, full of days. So I call it chips. If you come around here and you want something from the shop, from your where you work, you better earn some chips. If you don't have no chips to spend, no bonus. And it's that way in life. We're blessed to be a blessing. If you're out there blessing people, I bet Job blessed the fire out of everybody that was around him in his beginning. Job had a good name, and that good name was worth more than silver and gold, because when he lost everything, he didn't lose his good name. And life is just a whisper, a wisp of air, a breath of whatever. No doubt Job is with his first 7 sons and 3 daughters and his second set of 7 sons and 3 daughters into eternity in a place with God. No big deal. It was just a little inconvenience for a time. Yeah, sitting and losing everything it'll make you whine and cry a bit, being sick, and we got a lot to moan about, but there's always something we can bless God for, because I always say life ain't fair. And you've heard me say this before. You know what we'd get if life was fair? We'd all be going to hell. So since it ain't fair, God has paid a price to make a way of escape from that. Thank God that life ain't fair, that the price has been paid by Jesus. So anyway, that's it for the trigger time. Tomorrow we'll focus on one thing and make it more of a text thing rather than a random coming down the line. But we're working on everything. Parts are supposedly coming. I guess we're going back to normal, and everybody's going back to work. So we'll see how that all goes, and we'll see you tomorrow.